This is the Amp Hour Podcast, recorded January 25th, 2017. Episode 333. Science, Not Silence.
Welcome to the Amp Hour. I'm Dave Jones from the EEV blog.
And I'm Chris Gamble of Contextual Electronics.
Just us for the first time in 2017.
Yeah, when was the last time we did a show together? It was...
Well, because I went on
You were on holiday.
so
I guess
it
it was with Jeff, right? I mean, that was probably the holiday episode. And then
Yeah, it was, but then, yep.
Yeah, it's almost a month. So.
The last one, yeah, something like that.
How was your holiday?
It was excellent. Thank you very much.
I saw you making like videos from the beach and everything.
I made a couple of it. Couldn't help it.
Yeah, just had to get creative release, huh?
Yeah, can't have the channel go downhill, you know. So I had to release a couple of token videos,
I get the coded
it's all
message
about the
here.
metric.
You didn't get enough videos done before you left, huh?
None.
These things happen.
I was so when I got back, I'm like super keen. I'm going to do, 5 videos a week or something. And bloody hell, I got almost none done.
Yeah, well,
it's coming towards the end of January.
Do you want me to automate an email
that
sends you every day don't go on your forum too much, Dave? Don't go on your forum too much, Dave.
It's been do you want to know what I've been doing?
Sure, yeah.
Packing and shipping again.
Oh, logistics. Well, that's a good sign.
What do you think?
Okay.
Because I need a new logistics person. So I'm going to hire, and I've implemented whole new systems and everything else. So I changed over to DHL and everything else, and the Amazon stuff and the whole kit and caboodle.
That is interesting too, because it's tough because it's I think as engineers it's our prerogative to optimize, and trying to optimize everything, and then it just kind of just naturally carries over to things like logistics. For me, it was I got stuck in website holes at one point. Beyond the I don't know what I'm doing, but even then it was no, this needs to be perfect. It's it doesn't always need to be perfect, but at least in your case,
but
there's actually money tied to it, and time.
Yes, there is. Time, yes.
Yeah,
and it's pretty streamlined, but still, if you go, oh shit, you got to take an hour out of your time, to
right.
go and do it and stuff like that. It's not like I have to go and actually deliver them. I just leave them out the door, someone comes, picks them up, it's like... it's
well, I think that as more people are developing low run electronics anyways, that is a common thing, right? I mean, people making runs to the post office or the shipper or whatever, so it's
and of course the endless argument about just Dave outsource it, the whole lot. It's not
well, that's a tough decision too, but I think it's good that you have evolved it. It's not like you jumped right into it and said I'm not going to do anything until it's perfect, and that honestly is the best thing.
It's evolved, and then I ditched it all and I almost started again. Not quite started again, but I'm still using WordPress, but I'm using WooCommerce. I'm using and then it ties into another third-party portal, which ties into DHL, which have two different portals to use depending on which plan you. By the way, DHL, I think, are probably the best company I've ever dealt with.
Interesting.
In terms of customer service and having their shit together. It's unbelievable. When I set up my account with them, you get yourself an account manager and everything, and they're Johnny on the spot. You call them up, they're there. They'll even call you up if they notice you're having problems, checking in the background. It's brilliant.
That's nice.
And, I'm setting things up and everything, and, I've got a question or whatever, email comes back a couple of minutes later. Yep, that's in a document which we sent to you when you were first set up. They sent 12 different documents and procedures of how to set it, and everything's there. They've thought of everything.
That's great.
And forms come pre-filled out, and it's just, it's pretty sweet.
Good customer service. It's hard to beat that.
Got their shit together. It's
logistics companies in general, logistics and automation companies, continually blow me away. it sounds like that's a good customer experience, but just like the logistics, the back end of like all the sorting they do and the tracking of packages and all that stuff. Like there is a ton of infrastructure back there.
There's a ton of it.
Really, really impressive. I mean, it's you think about the delivery person, but it's actually the system.
One of their part is convoluted at the moment. Well, it's kind of convoluted, but it works. It's like I'm using their e-commerce system, and it's all automated when you print the labels and everything else, and that's all great. But to actually arrange delivery for somebody to come and pick them up is a rather interesting thing. Like they don't just have a checkbox you tick. What they've got is a PDF form. You go in, fill out the PDF form. It's all pre-filled. And then you hit an email button. It goes into your email system. It sends that, it converts that to like an XML file.
Oh, weird.
The PDF to like an XML file. It emails it to their portal. And like a minute later, you get an email back with your tracking number and your barcodes and everything else to put on the box. Yeah. So it's kind of like a weird. So they said, oh yeah, we're fixing, we're working on that. But this is our temporary solution. Well, it's pretty impressive temporary solution. It works quite well, but it's just a little bit convoluted. But the stuff they have is amazing.
So your setup now though, would you recommend it for someone getting started? So say they're just selling like tens of boards. Is it worth it to do what you're doing, or should they just kind of figure it out as they go along?
It's worth it. My sidekick, David, too, he's also looking at getting into this. He's also set up a DHL account, and he's raving about them too.
Right. No, I meant like the WooCommerce, all that stuff. Like.
Oh yeah. No, he's going to do all that. He's doing all that as well, and he's going to release a product and doing stuff like that. No, it is definitely worth it. And it's not.
I'm obviously the Amp Hour runs on WordPress. I run Contextual Electronics on WordPress. That's all I really run. And I was actually talking to a student about this the other day too, and it's just like it's pretty heavy-handed at first, but like having knowledge of some kind of like content management system like that as an engineer, obviously you could turn it into a shipping platform or a e-commerce platform like you're doing, a
blogging platform, shipping platform,
exactly. I use it for
whatever,
a learning platform, stuff like that, and actually uses WooCommerce as well. So I mean, like it is kind of overwhelming at first, but even just for documentation, I think it's worthwhile to have that on your site. So if there's interest in that, we can talk about that more in the future. But it's it's good to have like some kind of flexible platform like that, and there's no one size fits all, but it is good for even for electronics people to just think about for blogging and stuff like that. Put your project somewhere.
The thing I like about it is that it is basically a standard platform,
at this point,
and you can get a plug-in for anything. If you're running WordPress and WooCommerce, for example, which is, the blog, generic blog interface and the e-commerce type interface behind it, then there are so many plugins.
Yeah.
Although I've got to say, the DHL, oh yes, you have to pay, but it's not much. It's like, a plugin might be $20, $50. It's like one-off cost. It's nothing.
No, and it tracks really well. I think with electronics too. It's like the difference between like buying a dev board or designing your own, right? And it's of
course. You buy one for $10.
I think that it's very novel to want to like have everything you need, but like, man, it's worth it to just buy that dev board, buy that plugin, whatever it is, and just go with it, especially at first,
Yep. It works.
Yeah, it's so much better. So,
it's all good. I actually thought about ditching WooCommerce, like my online store completely. When I probably could. I could do everything. Well, actually, I could now. I was going to originally ditch it for Amazon, but then I found out, Amazon still don't do the global shipping thing. It's not working.
Gotcha.
So I have to, Anyway, I'm trying in Europe now. I finally got into Amazon Europe, and they're shipping from the UK.
Very cool. Yeah.
Anyway, it's not shipping to other countries in the UK, and everyone's complaining. But anyway, hopefully that will come. I was going to do that. So Amazon failed me there, but eBay, because my new system integrates with my eBay store, I use eBay and DHL to ship anywhere in the world now. So in theory, I could ditch my web store completely. But then the problem comes in is that, the money you're losing, you've got to charge more, because Amazon are going to take their, 15 to 18%. Or something like that, if you do the fulfill by Amazon. So you've got to jack the price up. Either you've got to eat that profit, or you've got to jack the price up. On Amazon, same thing with eBay. What's eBay, like 10% by the time you include the eBay fees plus the PayPal? You know,
I've never done any of this stuff, so.
Oh, right. Well, yeah, I'm telling you, it's like it's about 10%, something like that. Whereas your e-commerce store is nothing, right? It doesn't. It's like $80. I think I'm paying $80 a month for the integrated shipping platform. So that could eat into your profit if you're shipping low margin stuff and you're not shipping many, you know, things like that. But there's ways to do it without that. Mm-hmm. So you're only paying the PayPal fee, basically.
Yeah.
So you can sell things cheaper there, and you can make more profit per unit, which can be important. So I don't know why anyone does this on low margin products. Like, you know, if you're making, you know, 10, 20% profit, like margin on each one, right? If you buy something for $100 and sell it for 120, or buy something for $10 and sell it for, you know, and you're making, you know, and you're making, 10% or something. As a lot of those retailers do.
Yeah, you just got to do more volume, really. I mean, like, that's what it comes down to.
Exactly. That's horrible. I'd never want to be in that business. So I'm sticking to, the more niche products, high volume products. I've got another one coming online, so it will be coming shortly. I got a new front panel. You might have known it. Did I tell you last time that I was advertising for somebody to do a front panel for me?
Yeah, I told you to post it. Yeah,
that's right. You told me to post it, and I posted it. And sure enough, an excellent graphic artist came back and did it for me.
Very nice.
Looks great.
Yeah.
So yes.
That's a success story. Hiring people is never. It's always a crapshoot, right? I mean, it's like.
Yep. And then another person approached me who said, "Hey, they do intro video titling and all graphic design for a huge TV show." Mm-hmm. And it's like, shit, okay. Excellent. You're on file for you're on tap.
Oh yeah, right.
In the future for, you know, if I need stuff like that. So yeah.
I mean, really having like nice. Kind of a cadre of available
people that you go to for
having
tasks.
A lawyer, having a CPA, having a graphics designer, like all that stuff as you're kind of formulating these things. That's
what I want. What I want. I want go-to people. So I've got myself a graphic designer now, potentially a video, effects designer.
Yeah. I went to a thing in Chicago that was it was called Maker Biz, and
right. I think I've heard of that.
It was weird. I mean, it was like it kind of sort of seemed like an AA meeting. Like it's like you get up and you're like, "Hey, my name's Chris, and I build hardware." Yeah. Hi, Chris.
That's great.
And then it was just like issues that people were dealing with, and it was a matter of some people were mechanical people, some people were software people. They were kind of diving into the hardware or the electronics world and stuff like that. And it usually isn't. You hang out with a group like that, or like the new workspace I'm at. It's like kind of just all hardware people. And then it's like, oh wow, there are a lot of other pieces to the business that are really important, like the marketing piece. That's always a tough thing too. So it was just weird. The
last thing you want to do is spend money on marketing, though. Really.
Yeah, but sometimes you got to get eyeballs, So that makes it tough.
Yeah, only if you've exhausted all possible avenues for getting those eyeballs for nicks.
Yeah, I know.
It's like we had Dave on the show, right? The Kronos camera, right? Dave Kronstein, right?
Yep.
A classic case. Yeah, he ponied up the money to build, 10 units or something like that, and shipped them for free to all the bloggers out there. And the publicity he got, you couldn't buy marketing like that.
Right. But that's also relationship based. I mean, you shouldn't just ship stuff to people. You should also, he had prior relationships. He understood that, he talked to people beforehand. Yep. Yeah, no, you're right. That was an excellent example of.
That's a clever use of paying for marketing rather than going to some marketing agency. Oh yeah, we'll do this. That's just throwing money.
Yeah, that does
some money up the wall.
That is definitely that could be treacherous. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Boy.
So Speaking of marketing and money and people being frustrated, there was some news while we were away about a CAD program.
Oh, I thought you were going to jump into something else there.
No, we can get to that. I'm sure that'll come up.
Yeah,
I'm
sure
point.
You'll get to that. You can't resist.
Yeah.
But yes, I did a video on that.
You did, yeah, you did.
Yes. For those who don't know, living under a rock, Autodesk bought CADsoft Eagle, who bought it from. They bought it from Farnell's because Farnell's originally.
Yeah, it was
anyway.
CADsoft. CADsoft was the original company, and then
CADsoft was the original company, and then they bought it, and then Farnell didn't know what to do with it, so they sold it off to AutoCAD, Autodesk,
yep.
who think they know what to do with it, but they caused a big, gigantic shitstorm.
Yeah, so I did watch your video, and I liked it. I thought it was pretty well balanced. And I would like to say up front, I do not actually think. I thought it was a bit of a pile-on, unfortunately. But these things happen on the internet.
Video?
Not your video. Just in general on the internet.
Right.
I mean,
right. No, of course.
If people find value in it, I understand people don't like SaaS products. That's fine. But if people find value in it, like as a comparison,
Hang on, but we have not told people what the thing is.
Oh, sure. Go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
The problem is...
Right, some people are living on rocks, you're saying.
Yes. You used to buy, license. You bought the license. It's yours.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's it. Now you can't buy... Now it's a monthly subscription service.
Right. Yep.
Or a yearly. You can pay a year in advance. But it's basically gone completely subscription service.
Yep.
You can't buy a perpetual, what's known as a perpetual license anymore.
Right.
So, yep. Oops.
Right, and so there were some very valid arguments about that. If we need to store the version of the software with your designs and archive them and stuff, that's totally legit. I think that's actually a really strong design practice because that's scary when you're only have Gerbers in the future. Now, sometimes you can't do anything about it, right? But
you're right.
I've dealt with that, and you've dealt with that, and it's a bad situation. So people that are backing up their tools along with when they finalize a rev and they back up their tools with their design, that's good design, and you cannot do that. I think that the fault on Autodesk side is that they don't offer it at all. I mean, if you want to do it, just offer it at a really high price.
They do not offer it. No, they do not understand the CAD market. I mean, Altium are trying to push everyone onto a subscription model. They have been for years, but they know that's not the only thing they can offer, because in the professional market for ECAD software, you have to offer a perpetual license, and Autodesk don't understand that, and it's costing them dearly. So anyway, whether or not whether or not it's blown out of all proportion, everyone's just piling on, as you say, and in the end, everyone will just go, grown, I'll just keep on using it.
Right, and I think that some people, they find value with it. They will, ditch it. Sure, and I enjoy the influx to KiCad. A lot of people say that KiCad's a good alternative. I was saying that not as a pile-on thing. I've been saying that for years. I think that it's better. I think it's been better. And a lot of people.
It'd be nice to see the stats if the website has any stats to see a spike.
There was some on the mailing list. Let me see if I can find it in my email. I mean, it was on the developer mailing list. They were just mentioning a little bit. They've talked about it in the forums and the IRC and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think it was anything spectacular. Let's see. Oh yeah, there's a spike, but it's really not that big of a spike.
Okay.
So.
Right. So you think everyone's just all huff and puff, huh?
I think there's a lot of huff and puff, but I think over time that people are going to realize that if it is something that they feel strongly about, they're going to find something else. Like you said in your video, I really like what you say about that. You say it's a religion, right? And it's tough. Yep. Some people will change a religion. It happens every day, but it's not something you do on a whim, and it's not something you do instantly. And so...
Speaking of which, here is the interesting argument for this, right? Somebody argued on the forum, or a couple of people did, that, the subscription model's better because then you can immediately, if you don't like the direction the software's going or whatever, you can immediately protest by simply not paying your subscription. Like, hang on, I have to face palm.
That's a bit... That's like shooting yourself in the foot, though, too,
I know,
right?
You can't do that.
Right. I will just halt all progress on my stuff, right?
Whereas it was much, because then the pain is on you.
Right, and that's the problem.
The user, right? Exactly. If you want to protest the direction the company's taking and you're on a subscription service, nope, you've got to either completely quit and go through the hell of switching CAD software, and it is hell. It's switching CAD software, right?
I think you're right.
And it's about as painful as it gets.
No, if you try and update old designs, for sure. But what I would do is I would just take if you have an Eagle license from before, right? If you have one of the perpetual license, lock that with your old designs. Keep it. You know how to use it, obviously. Just lock it all together, and then new stuff goes to KiCad.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that you can't just move on a whim, right? You can't just go, I'm going to switch from Eagle to KiCad, or I'm going to switch to Altium or something.
At an institutional level too, it's if there's more people, if it's not just you, then that's an even bigger deal. Yeah, no, that's a tough ship to turn.
Right? So you can't protest. Whereas the old perpetual license model, the power was with the customer. Right?
You think so?
Whereas yes, having worked at a CAD software company, I can vouch for this, right? And I'll explain. When you buy a perpetual license, it's yours, right? You can use that version of software forever, right? Sure, you don't get bug updates and all that sort of stuff, but right? Yeah. That's fine, right? You've got that. You can use it forever. So if you don't like the direction the software, the company's taking, or the next version that they've released, you simply don't buy the next version. You just keep on happily using your existing version. Nothing's changed.
Protel 99, huh?
Protel 99 SE. Altium spent even a decade later, after Protel 99 SE came out, Altium was still desperately trying to convince customers to upgrade from 99 SE a decade later.
Right.
And everyone's going, I don't see the benefit. So it puts the onus on the company to really up their game, really up their product, and convince you that you need to upgrade. Whereas on a subscription base, you're just locked in and they can do anything you want, and they can gradually move in a direction you don't like, and you're just going to go
right.
Every time a new version comes out. Right. Yeah. Every time a new version comes out, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas a perpetual license, you can. And that's.
Yeah, well, and so that was my. Anyway. I mean, like I said, I use Fusion 360. I think it's a decent product. I am not a mechanical.
What is the Fusion 360?
That's the mechanical.
Mechanical CAD.
Yeah, it's parametric CAD, stuff like that.
And it's subscription only, isn't it?
It is as well, right? And it also has CAM built in. Now, but then again, I'm not a mechanical engineer, so I'm sure that is a similar kind of thing. I don't really know how that would work. So, but also in the CAD world, also in the 3D CAD world, I don't actually think, I know people are going to say FreeCAD or SCAD, OpenSCAD, or
one of those
options, but I'm sorry, I don't actually agree with that.
No, I've used them in there.
Yeah. So, until there is, when there is, I will, I'm an Inkscape user, I'm a GIMP user, I'm a KiCad user, like I'm a LibreOffice user, like I think I walk the walk for the most part for when it's viable. Again, video editing as well. I can't do video editing, and OBS. Oh man, what a darn shame. Open Broadcaster software. That's the streaming software that I use. XSplit.
I didn't like that. I did not. Yeah, I used XSplit. I like XSplit.
The only reason I really like XSplit's
a little bit quirky on its own.
It is. It's very 90s kind of style, but it's all about the pause button for me. I've said that before.
Right, so. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. But anyways, come on in. The water's fine. KiCad is ready to go. If you are interested in learning it, I'll put a link. The Getting to Blinky is still the best I could do for getting people started quickly. It's not fast. It's 2 hours, but it's like Dave said. It's like it's gonna take you longer to do new stuff with KiCad, but I think you'll get to it pretty quick. DipTrace is fine too. There's a lot of options out there, right? Circuit Studio, Circuit Maker, whatever. You try them all. Who cares? Like something's going to fit you. I'm not proselytizing more than my usual amount. So,
so did you see any uptake when I plugged it in the?
Video? Yes, I saw a little bit of a couple more angry comments about how I don't know how to solder on my last video.
Which
is not wrong. My soldering's terrible.
Love it. Yep.
I'd like to defend myself on that.
Especially when you shoot live like that.
Yeah.
It's soldering under
that was really
pressure
tough.
of recording video sucks.
My new setup is much better for that. But my thing is, a lot of people are like, oh, I really don't like that, you showed your mistakes. And I did I show my mistakes. But like literally that is the entire point of my course and like what I do.
Exactly.
And it's like,
it sucks.
And
you have to. Otherwise you would not be able to get the content out that you get out.
Right.
If you go edit it. I mean,
even just the redo, I think it detracts from it, honestly. What I tell people is there's this amazing video speed plugin, and I use it on Dave's videos, I use it on Ben's videos, everyone's videos really. It's a Chrome plugin, it's HTML5. Any HTML5 video you can speed up or slow down arbitrarily, and it's great for any kind of learning software. So I highly recommend it. And I tell students to use it too, because if you don't like it, you just fast forward past it. So it's great.
Right. So in the end, do you think Eagle is now going to fail because of this? You think they're going to go downhill?
I don't think so. I mean, they got a big company behind them. It's not like they. Yep. I mean, if anything, they would just. I think that they would put less developers towards it in the future, but. Eagle didn't really have that for a long time either, because they were just kind of fixing stuff. They were a small team,
along.
So I did think I saw
anyway,
that they got rid of. I think
they'll be adding some good stuff. I mean, they already have started adding some good stuff.
Sure,
whether or not.
But it's the thing about that is it's really moving that out of, it's like no longer, like Eagle did well because it has a community and because it started as a hobby tool and people took that and kind of made it more than a hobby tool, or brought it into the workplace because there was a hobby tool. That was a big success from the CADSoft team, I think. The free version, the community version, whatever.
The free version is what made them. And then, of course, Arduino used it, Adafruit and others used it, SparkFun. Everyone else,
I started on it. I mean,
up.
It's great. Yeah, I mean, it's quirky, but it's, it allowed me to get started. And I think that alone is a strong thing, but it's like you got to keep the community going. So hopefully they'll figure it out. I'm sure they will. Yeah.
Maybe in a year's time, maybe they'll backflip
maybe
they did before. Because they've done this before. When Farnell owned it, Farnell tried to do this, and then they backflipped like 2 weeks later and backed down and removed it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, speaking of software, which is updating, LT Spice.
Oh, yeah.
Our favourite simulator.
That was weird.
That just came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It was LT Spice 4. How long's it been LT Spice 4?
I mean, at least as long. I mean, so people don't know. We had Mike Engelhardt onto the show, and he that was an amazing show. That guy's amazing. Holy crap.
And that was like 5 years ago or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And he had, I think that was like a year or two after they went from 3 to 4. I think it was when I was.
Okay.
Well, I think it was at Keithley when I went from 3 to 4. So. Because it was like I remember it was a big update because of Windows 7 or Windows 10 or something like that. So
right. But anyway, they have instead of LT Spice 5, 17. Look at that. So what?
Yeah. And it's
LT
I mean
Spice
you
17.
read the changelog, it's actually nothing big. It's really I think what they're probably preparing to do is to have releases each year, and then eventually one of those years, maybe 18, maybe 19, it'll no longer be LT Spice, it'll be AD Spice or LT80 or whatever, because if people don't know, Linear Tech is now owned by Analog Devices. So if they kill LT Spice, oh my god, talk about mess ups with community.
Pitchforks.
I just, not even pitchforks, it's just such a good marketing tool,
And it's brilliant. And all they've got to do is pay one person to work on it and maintain it. That's it. I mean,
well, I'm sure Mike's got a little bit of a team now, but
maybe.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's really good. I mean, it's quirky too, right? It's quirky, but whatever.
No, it's not the easy, by far not the easiest tool to use. It's No, there's lots of good easy simulators out there. A lot of them are web-based now and app-based and stuff like that. And they're so impressive.
We had talked about Every Circuit. I remember mentioning that. That was an Android app.
Every Circuit is very impressive,
But I didn't realize that same functionality that I really liked, the visualization of current flow and voltages and stuff like that actually got pulled into the Falstad simulator. Did you know?
Yes, it did.
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, I've actually switched a little bit more over to Falstad. I think I'll probably do that more because it's just kind of built-in cross-platform because it is browser-based. And I think that's And, there's a bunch of great startup circuits. It's really simple. You don't, the downside to like an LT Spice is that if you're doing something with like just a transistor, you can do a generalized model of a transistor, like a MOSFET or something.
No, it's not.
But it's actually not the default. The default is to pick the actual part number.
And pick the actual LT Spice is a professional tool designed for professionals who know what they're doing.
Right. Well, like Mike said, he also said it's an internal tool, which is even more impressive.
Yes. So. And no, it is designed to be like the most accurate and fast thing possible. It's not. There's no thought at all given to ease of use, beginners, all that sort of stuff. None whatsoever.
Yeah, and so I think Falstat's great, and that for a long time was a Java tool, and then it went to JavaScript a couple years ago, and it's browser based, and it's fantastic. And there's other ones out there. I mean, there's other simulation in the browser type thing. But there's
so many of them. Maybe I should do like a comparison.
That'd be a good idea.
Of the various tools. But
I just really like that visualization. That's so tough for people getting started. And that is really, really helpful. And the nice thing is like the built-in circuits too. If people don't know about that, there's just a bunch of demo circuits in there, and just like multi-vibrator type stuff for 555 timers. And like LT doesn't really do like a lot of the components like 555s really well. I mean, it does, but not really. So. I do recommend it.
Right.
Yeah. Speaking of simulation, you posted an interesting video about simulations of the light in GPU chips and stuff for the moon landing.
Oh, right. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't get you for a second.
Yeah.
This is actually not new. It actually came out a couple of years ago. I can't believe I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
And I put it in the Reddit list, and I entitled it "Simulation Works." Bitches. Bitches. You just go watch this thing. It is absolutely brilliant. NVIDIA, who humorously tried to hire me the other day. That was hilarious.
Oh,
anyway,
how adorable. I didn't know they had Nazi contingency. That's cool.
No, it was in Japan.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, we can talk about that after. Okay. They debunked the moon conspiracy theory of the famous photo of that Neil Armstrong took of Buzz coming down the ladder.
Yep.
Right? Of the Apollo 11 lander, right? The LEM.
Yep.
And, because all the conspiracy theorists, say, it's, it can't be that bright and the image can't, you're in shadows and darkness and everything. And, of course, the Mythbusters busted this one as well. They physically did it. They built little models. They actually got the moon simulated regolith material. It's called that has the same reflective properties and all that sort of stuff. And they simulated the hills and why the shadows were longer, and things like that. And they busted that completely using physical models. But what NVIDIA did, they decided, hey, we're the world's best at 3D graphics and, crap like that, right? They put it. I think they had a team working on this, and they modeled absolutely everything down to the finest detail, and as in the reflective properties of each individual grain of moon dust. Right? And
GPUs, huh?
GPUs for the win, right? Because they wanted it as like a real kick-ass example. And so they recreated the entire thing in simulation, and then they were able to pan around with the camera, set the exposure of the camera and everything, any angle that you wanted, and they actually matched the photo almost. You can't tell. Just watch the video, and you can't. Weird, it is weird. You cannot. Is it the real photo that they took on the moon, or is it the simulation? And you can't tell. It's that realistic. And anyway, they proved that yes, that is exactly what it would look like. They even got, should I have a spoiler? Because I was quite excited by this part at the end.
I think you should leave. You should just say it.
I'll
it was
leave it.
very
It's
extreme.
very
Their level of simulation is very extreme.
It's extreme, and stick around for it's a very slow. The guy talks.
Another reason I use that video speed control. I put it at 2x because you warned about it. Yeah.
I put 1.5 or 2 times speed watching this one. He like pauses after every couple of words. You know. Anyway, watch it. Like,
I wonder if people are listening to us right now because my podcast player also is. I also can do 1.5 or 2x speed. So maybe we're talking about going faster really quickly right now for some people.
I don't think I've heard I think I've heard the odd person say that they play the podcast quicker because they've only got a 45-minute commute or something. So they, you know,
I do that for every podcast. If I can do it, I do Embedded faster. I do.
Really?
Tim Ferriss podcast faster.
Even for people who speak fast like us, like Australians.
Yeah.
No worries, mate.
Yeah. Right. Yep.
Anyway.
Yeah.
That was cool.
It's really good. I think the thing that popped out to me about this is that I cannot believe there's still people that don't believe this shit.
I know.
What, 50? How many years on?
Yeah.
50? Yeah, 50 years on. Like, get a life, people.
45, sorry.
Sure, whatever. Yeah. But we are living in an age of, we're living in an age of not science.
Before we go there, I would like to say this is a brilliant example of how science works. I mean, they could have come a gutser on this one. They could have spent months and months and months simulating this, and it could not have worked. But it did, because science,
every
bitches,
variable, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
No, if you take if they forgot variables, it wouldn't have worked,
right?
But they absolutely nailed every single variable.
It's like the physics lab where you calculate the acceleration of gravity, and you're like, 11.5 meters per second. Duh. Something might be wrong there.
But the thing is, like, when they started this project, they probably didn't realize how good it would turn out.
Oh, sure. Right.
Right? Yeah, it's so spectacular.
It's iterative,
you can't pick the difference. Yeah, and and then once they added in, I think they mentioned that in the talk, once they add in various things, they went, it doesn't quite look right. We haven't quite done it, but we add in this.
Yep.
And,
Yep, exactly.
And,
it's like, just, same thing with, if you're troubleshooting a circuit too, it's, you probably don't know every piece, but eventually, if you're doing, like leakage currents, it always happened for me, where it's like, where the hell is that last microamp going? And then eventually you pull that capacitor off, you're like, oh, that's a bad cap, or something like that. There's... Same thing.
But we never go down to that level. I mean, they actually went down to such a deep level because they could and because they probably had to make it work.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Whereas where electronics is more, engineering is more high level, abstracted, we can go down to... Maxwell's equations and stuff like that. But then, it's not like we go down to the quantum level much.
Right. Well, and we're also usually measuring and observing with tools, and if the tools aren't up to the job,
exactly.
It's like,
then it's,
we only get, I guess you have an 8.5 digit, and even that's usually questionable, right? It's like,
right.
Is that perfectly in spec or whatever?
Yeah. No, exactly. There's lots of, that's why Keithley's low measurement handbook is 300 pages long.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not like stick current meter in in circuit and measure 1 nanoamp.
Right, the perfect current meter in the fall state simulator.
Right, yes, exactly.
Right. We're solving math equations. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not quite the same. So anyway, that's I love that video.
Yeah, no, that was good.
I might watch it again. Yeah, for the win. Anyway, all right, rant away. Go.
It's not okay. So listen. I am saying this...
We have to put this as the photo of you. We have to put it as the photo for the episode, I think.
What?
The photo of you holding up the protest sign.
Oh, right. Yeah, so I went to a protest, and I've been just totally upset about everything that's been happening in the States. Yes, there's politics involved, but the thing that gets me the most, I mean, the human rights stuff especially, but the science stuff, and that's really what I'm talking about here. I'm just going to say that I'm going to keep talking about science and the, supporting the scientific community, supporting, the stuff that even isn't getting much press. The stuff that really gets me is like turning off the ability for solar and wind to push back into the grid, and like all of this stuff where it's just over and over. There's scientific evidence of these things that happen, and it's just totally being abused. And I'm so upset about everything. So I don't want to talk too much about politics. I'm obviously not a big fan of what's happening in the U.S. right now.
But we can talk about the science side of it.
Sure,
that's
right.
engineering and the effects on our.
Sure. I mean, I think that right now. I mean, there's already been they're like telling the Trump administration is telling people the EPA not to talk to the public, and it's like, no, that is not.
I love the Badlands National Park Twitter feed.
Yeah, yes.
That was great. Some ex-employee started after they were not kind of ordered, but anyway, we won't go into the details. But anyway, so an ex-employee of this Badlands National Park in the US started tweeting after they were fired or whatever. Got back into the Twitter account and just started tweeting random science facts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like cool.
Yeah. Yep. And
For the win. That was brilliant.
My sign says "Science, not silence." I'm big on that. I think that's going to be a bigger push for me this year as well. I think that science education for a long time has been under attack in the States, and I think maybe abroad. And I think that that's something near and dear to my heart. And at it this way: we live in a technologically insanely modern world. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
The only thing that has made that is science.
That's right.
The only thing.
Right.
Nothing else. In fact, everything else tries to drag back. There's a drag science back. There's a comedy skit. Who is it? I can't remember, but I'll try and find it for you because you'll love it. He uses a train as an analogy of the progress of mankind, and up in the engine driving the train are all the scientists and engineers, right? And then behind them are all the wishy-washy people who don't give a shit. And then dragging down the carriage, dragging the last 199 carriages are, backward-thinking people who deny science and everything else. And it's like, why can't we just pull the pin on this engine, and get rid of all these other carriages and just shoot off? It's man.
Yep. Well,
but even is it a lack of science education? I don't think it is. It's not that. I mean, that helps, but that's not the whole story.
On some people's part, it's corporate profits on other people's part. Like I get it. I get why people they dislike the EPA. They're like, oh well, we want to drill, and it's like, well, look, so like we talked about in the past on this show, right? Of solar and wind. I think the great salvation is that Australia is buying a bunch of them, and Germany's buying a bunch of them, and there's just lots and lots of development around that. But unfortunately, the U.S. is a big market for just as a consumer, and so if the incentives go away for buying solar, then aside from the free power that shines down on the earth every single day, so yeah, it's.
But that's not the only solution though, because
of course
we can get into base load energy and all that.
No, I get all that
sort of stuff.
I just get so frustrated with like the blatant disregard for it, and
yes, absolutely. I share your pain.
I can so.
Although you're taking it really badly.
I really am.
He's telling me that before the show.
Yeah, I'm not sleeping well. And I get anxious about all this stuff. I mean, like so what I'll say, I obviously I'm talking stupidly right now. I can feel my adrenaline running. I really get worked up about this stuff. But I think it's our job. I think it's as engineers, scientists, people that are concerned. I think you just got to keep an eye out. You got to keep fighting for open data. I think that's something that we talk about here a lot. And unfortunately, you can't really bludgeon them with reason, and that's the other thing that's really frustrating. And it's
no, you can't. And it's unfortunately, I'm not going to say it's an unwinnable battle, but it
And I think economic benefits too, right? So I think that the fact that solar is actually a cheaper energy source, that is actually really beneficial. I think that there's going to be
the consumer drives everything.
Yeah, but
right.
There's always vested interest, and so it's going to veer way too far into politics, and I get that, and people don't want to hear that, but the science, the pieces where there was willful ignorance of climate change and environmental impacts and even like there's a lot of trade stuff that's happening. Like some is decent. I will totally admit that. But some of it's going to be really bad too. So,
I just don't get why people go against scientists. You know jack shit about anything, and you want to go, oh, they're wrong.
Right.
Well, they might be wrong, but that's the scientific process, right. Okay? And it'll sort itself out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how we've achieved this fantastic society that we live in for the last,
Right. There was a tweet the other day. It was like 50 years ago, half a century ago, the U.S. federal government launched Apollo 11. Half an hour ago, it forced a national park to delete a science tweet.
Yeah.
And it's like that.
Which wasn't true, by the way. They did not force them to do it.
It doesn't.
I verified that.
Okay.
I verified that. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, I was going to reply to that tweet, but I did actually verify.
Got it.
So that's not true. Yep.
I don't know.
They pulled it themselves.
Get involved if you're interested in either direction. Yeah. That's all I'm going to say. I mean, and yes, people are going to say you should have done it a long time ago, and that's true too, but I live in a very liberal area.
Well, maybe we can have community brainstorming here.
Sure.
What do we as the...
Yeah, for anyone still listening, if anyone's still listening. Yeah.
The reason, the people who have reason, and, boy, what do we do? How do we...
I've got some ideas, but they're not fully formed yet.
I think a lot of it is you have to continually laugh and shame people.
Yeah.
And take
That's
the
actually a really good point.
piss out of people.
Yeah.
If people are embarrassment will change people and shut them up. Right. So if you see somebody throwing something on Facebook, oh, look at this, and this isn't real, and this isn't real, laugh at them.
Right.
Send them, try and humiliate them. Because they're very difficult to educate, so you might have to educate by humiliation.
That's an interesting point. Yeah.
Right.
Use data. I think that's another thing for me, too, is that, blind faith is bad in any direction. I've actually never reviewed climate data myself, and so that's something I'm going to be doing.
I've gone into some detail. There's a massive armada.
Of course,
I have actually done some research.
But I think that just being informed and stuff like that. I think that there are changes afoot, and I can
even tell you their confidence level.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Anyway,
well, if you have links, maybe we could send them through. But Dave said, we're brainstorming, and we'll be taking action.
What can we do?
Yeah. So.
Yes, I think humiliation is one, and I mean the worst thing I think you can do is respect somebody's opinion, right? Oh, you have to respect my opinion.
Right.
Bullshit, I do.
Right.
If your opinion is demonstrable,
I've actually come around to that, Dave. I should say,
I'm going to laugh at you.
Right. Right.
You have no right not to be humiliated.
Right. I totally
because
agree with
of some stupid thing you say, right? And you've just got to point it out at every available opportunity how stupid somebody is. and not just say you're stupid, right?
And here's why you're
actually
stupid.
Link to facts.
Right.
Try and educate them at the same time. And yep.
We'll see. Yeah.
Anyway. But then they just go and join other groups and things like that. And then you have problems like Facebook where, this has been in the news the last 6 or 12 months where, it funnels the news that you want to hear, so it funnels your, just reinforces your view. Mm-hmm. Something like Facebook. That's just the mechanism. That's the algorithm.
Yeah.
So, if you're all fake news and anti-science and everything else and woo-woo, and you love your woo-woo,
yep.
Then that's what Facebook's going to funnel you, and it will just continue to reinforce your opinion.
Yep. Yep.
And it doesn't help at all. It has to be. Yep.
Well, how about in the olden tradition? Let's go to the AT&T archives to feel better about the old days of science. Yeah.
Well, hang on. Have heart. We survived. Okay, we had
That's true.
Abbott government, which was an anti-science. They abolished the science minister.
Right.
Okay, right. That's how bad our. You still have a science, advice. They abolished the science minister, and he appointed himself head of he appointed, known misogynist and everything else, appointed himself the head of women's, what is it, the minister for women.
Like women's rights or something.
It's like, women's rights, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, that we've had our anti-science government and we survived, so...
That helps a little, but not much. Okay.
It helps a little, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, anyway, hang in there. Like, Australians are more, bunch of dickheads and, we'll just boot them out at the next election. It's like, same thing with you, like, probably at most it's going to be 4 years, right?
Yeah.
I don't see it lasting 8. I think something else is...
I don't want to think about it, so...
Well, anyway...
Okay, so the olden days. This is actually I actually got this from Chris White. He posted it. But there's, I don't know. Have you watched the old AT&T archives? I think we probably posted about them before.
I've probably watched the occasional one that somebody sent me.
Yeah.
I
This one's great.
there.
But they actually show they built an entire wave simulator with like using. I can't even tell what it is really. It's like. Oh boy, it might get loud here. There's a guy with a ladder outside where I'm recording right now. We'll see how this goes.
I have experience with wave tanks. We built wave tanks at
at your at the
Tallies and Surcell. Yeah, because we tested stuff in house, and they're one of these things. Oh yes, I was going to build one.
Yeah. So like
spoiler alert. Yes. David too actually looked into it for me. I was going to get him to build me one. Yes. No, I've seen this. Mm-hmm. Yes.
How does it work? I can't tell how it works. So we should explain what it is. It's basically they're showing a wave simulation, but they're doing it with like sticks that are kind of like rotating. Is that kind of?
Yes, they're on a center pivot and like a torsional pivot, and the flexor torsion goes through that center pivot, and it generates, and they've got arms which then wave up and down, and it will simulate a wave. It simulates reflection, so when the reflection hits the end, it bounces back. Yes, I wanted to build one, and David too, being the physics and math nerd that I can build that in 10 minutes. And I went, no, you don't.
Hold my beer.
And I think it's a bit more finesse involved.
Yeah, this looks really complicated.
And he said, no, I've got this great idea, and anyway.
Oh, they're showing it at about 22 minutes in how they actually build it. Yep. Okay. Anyways,
are they? Yeah. Oh, okay.
These old videos are amazing.
Build it. Yeah. No, I haven't seen this episode.
Yeah.
Okay. Are they showing how they build it?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyways, these old videos. This is.
Okay. I need to watch this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the little archives. They have stuff about tubes. They have stuff about transistors, stuff like that. And I think I mentioned last week or maybe the week before, but I have been reading that book that Jeff recommended, and it is just fantastic. It is the Idea Factory.
Right.
Yeah. Highly recommended. So, I mean, they're talking about. I didn't realize that in order to, spoiler alert, in order to get out from under a bunch of monopoly. Like they were going to break up AT&T. Instead, they gave away all their patents in order to spur innovation in other companies, and that's actually what basically allowed transistors to be made outside of AT&T or what do they call the electric arm of it? So yeah, crazy stuff. So really good book.
Damn you! Now you've made me want to build one of these again.
I know. We should also mention that Jeff did post all of his photos from that trip. So last time we talked was also with Jeff on the show, and Jeff did post all those photos. We'll link those in as well. So
cool,
good photos. I can't believe Nokia owns Bell Labs now. That's so weird. But yeah, What else is going on?
What else we got? Yeah.
There's a good article about when you're depressed, make something. So that's some good some good.
Is there one LinkedIn? Is there?
Yeah, that's a good thing for me. It is good to make. I mean,
straight after the show.
Yeah. I built a. I recently for XSplit, right? So we mentioned XSplit. There's a way to map keyboards to keys, or rather keys to functions, like to switch between cameras.
Hang on, I've got a technical question with XSplit. How do you pause when the focus isn't on the app? Because I've tried. I've got a pause key set, and it doesn't work if I switch focus to the screen I'm capturing.
Oh, mine does. I think that's a setting in there. Yeah. But anyways, there's a bunch of hotkeys you can do for it, and so I was like, oh, well, I can just do this with a Teensy, and so that was what I built that in like a day and a half. Not a day and a half, but like it was a quick layout, and so that's what I built recently. What are you building? Anything?
I'm trying to.
Yeah.
No, I'm trying to get my multimeter.
This is your secret stuff, huh? This is your.
Well, it's not secret. It was in my latest video.
Yeah.
Yeah, trying to get my custom multimeter done.
What video was that?
Hiccup after hiccup after hiccup.
What's going on with it?
Oh, there's just more things I discover every time I use it.
Is it a firmware thing or is it a hardware thing?
I don't know at this stage.
Okay, so it's just
stuff I found at the moment.
Bug report kind of thing, and
yeah, I've sent back some bug reports to them, and
you see how much? Yeah, because people should know that you don't actually have full control of it either. So.
No, I mean, well, I've got the source code.
You're working with them.
I can go in there and but I'm not writing, and I'm not. It's not like I'm writing the source code. It's not like I'm laying out the board. It's But apart from that, I'm reasonably closely tied to it. So it's and it's a compromise, because if I was doing it myself, there's a lot of things I'd do differently.
Interesting. We talked about it before. You're more like a product manager now, right? Versus like
I cannot micromanage a hardware team I haven't met and don't have direct contact with on the other side of the planet.
Right. Yep.
Like, it's just, it'll just go on forever. You've got to go, okay, well, that's, I don't necessarily like that, but it's, shrug your shoulders. It's good enough. Right. And, no, you can't keep tweaking until the cows come home.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, you can if it's your own project. It's right there in front of you. Tweak. But no, not when you're dealing with the design team somewhere else. So,
yeah.
Anyway,
yeah. Well, it's
pretty cool.
Good. I mean, that's good for you, though, right? I mean, that's a good. That stretches you as an engineer, kind of moving into quasi management without actually being beholden to a company.
I've got to learn to let go.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's tough, right? It's really tough.
Got to let go of my anger, Luke.
Yeah. Yep.
Anger leads to hate.
What was I going to mention with that? Oh, with product stuff. I was interested. Did you watch any of the? I mean, so again, it's been a while since CES and stuff like that. Did you see any of the stuff that came out of it? I mean, we kind of talked.
I didn't look at CES this year. Okay. I just didn't care.
You didn't miss too much. Yeah, you didn't miss much on the.
Right. No, it was, apart from looking at the Internet of Things breakdown of it.
Oh, the Internet of Shit, you mean?
Shit,
yeah,
yes.
Yeah, that was fun. Right.
Twitter account.
Yeah,
that
was very fun. I think Simone mentioned that as well. We linked that a couple shows ago.
Right.
But the interesting thing that I saw was the if you look at the hardware battlefield, which is the TechCrunch, they always do like a little competition. It's like a pitch competition, like a Shark Tank type thing.
Right. Yep.
The top two winners was kind of the style, and I think this is actually something we'll see more in terms of like electronics devices, things that people are looking to build. Like, so if our listeners are like contracting engineers and stuff like that, things that they're interested in building. So the winner was smart socks, and so God. The interesting thing about it to me is that it's low cost electronics, but it's a combination of a connected hardware business model, right? So device that talks to an app that then talks to online. But the crazy thing is that they sell multiple. They try and sell you on a subscription model of like, go buy new socks every month or something. So it's like disposable socks because it's for health. Because it's like the health industry as well, right?
is wrong with these people?
What do you mean? That's a great business model. You get the data, you get the recurring sales. I think it's really interesting. I'm sure that's why they won.
So is the $1,000 Juice Zero that you have to use, and insert any other bloody. I
just think it's interesting so it's connected and it's also. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. The connected piece does not get thrown away. The electronics don't get thrown away. There's like a consumable piece to it. And then the electronics gets recycled and reused again and connects again, right? So it's like...
I don't care. This is just stupid.
I think that's smart, man. I mean, from a business perspective, I think it's smart, but...
Yeah, well, I don't give a shit about the business perspective.
Okay.
Step back and ask why.
This from the guy that was talking about shipping for the first 10 minutes of the show, yeah.
Right.
You don't care about their business perspective.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh.
What do you hate about it?
Internet of shit. No, it's just like, why? Why do I need... It's like, why do I need a freaking internet-connected light bulb? Why do I need internet-connected socks?
This is for people with diabetes. So, like, that actually is...
Yeah, okay, fine.
Like circulation stuff for diabetes.
Product,
oh, yeah,
right?
super niche. Yeah,
but
there's another one for pregnant women.
$1 million they're not just marketing to them.
No, they are. It's called Siren Care. Tracks changes in temperature in the feet for diabetics. Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. You're saying this fits like a broad thing. Yeah, then that's totally would be internet. Like, no one needs internet connected socks on a daily basis. Like, your feet are sweaty. I know my feet are sweaty. Yeah.
All right.
Right.
Okay, it's a pass then.
Okay. Well, but that is interesting too, because there was another article I had on here about the death of gadgets, right?
Yes, I was going to link that in.
Yeah.
Yes, the gadget apocalypse. Yes.
It's true though. I mean, like, it's what is the device that anyone really needs past a cell phone? I think we've mentioned that on the show before, right? It's like, unless it's super, I think, industrial, like standalone type stuff. Sure, right? Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Yep.
But that's not on a person.
Everything people have tried has failed.
Right.
Everything, every little widget that plugs into your phone somehow, nobody, apart from, you might make $10 million on Kickstarter, but then it just flops, and who's actually carrying this thing around?
Right. Yep.
Even Google Glass was a complete flop.
Even?
Right, and
it's the
gadgets, right?
You just mean like a big company behind it, right?
Right.
Yeah. No, the Apple Watch as well. I think that's not really doing well either. I mean, like all of these things. These are all consumer level.
Smartwatches aren't. Yeah, smartwatches aren't. There's a market for them, right?
Yeah.
And I guess it's fairly big in the scheme of things, but it's not ubiquitous.
Yeah.
Right. I mean.
Yeah. I was thinking about. So obviously, Pebble is one of the things that prompted this article, and that's what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Really, you don't need a connected ring or jewelry or watch or anything, right?
Yep.
I mean, it's just your phone, right? Your phone is going to be the main thing. Maybe there will be something else in the future, but it's not there yet.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Have you seen Captain Disillusion's video
about
on the what is it? The projection watch, the Circa or something?
I forget what it's called. Yeah.
The Circa projection watch.
Yeah, it's the one that is supposed to project the entire screen onto your arm, and it's waterproof, and it's that was
dude, seriously, I have never seen a better produced YouTube channel in my entire life.
Oh, come on.
This is the Duck's Gut. No, seriously.
I don't agree with that.
Bullshit.
I mean, it's not like it's not very cinematic if that's what you're talking. I mean, like, you're just talking about like it is
the technical details that go into. I mean, this is what the guy does for a living.
Right.
He does film special effects and everything else, and the amount of effort that goes into each video is phenomenal.
Okay, I don't think it's the best I've ever seen, but it is. I will say that it is a significant effort, and it's very good. So
it's a massive effort. It's very good. It's very funny.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's my new favorite YouTube channel at the moment. Yep.
Yeah. So I was really wondering why. I'm surprised there isn't, or maybe there is, and I don't even know about it. Like, if there was just I'm surprised there's not like someone just making a small Bluetooth connected board, that could go into a watch, like like not an open source version. I mean, I guess it would be open source, but like I really haven't seen that.
Off the shelf, you can buy those.
Which?
What are you talking about?
You're talking about just like a screen, a connected screen, basically you could integrate into a watch. Like I would just think about like a. I mean, because Pebble was trying to do that a little bit with the time, I think, but it wasn't really open. Like I would just think that would be something out there, like a little screen connected.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
No, you can go down that rabbit hole if you want. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone.
Well, I mean, maybe just as a project to build for yourself, kind of thing. That's a good learning experience. But I've still never tied anything into an Android phone or an iPhone or anything. So that would probably be the long pole of learning here.
Right.
Oh, that's nice. I think it's time for me to end the show. It sounds like they're cutting metal pipes right here. So
right.
That's
Where are you, by the way?
That's how you know. Guess I should have gone to the soundproof room.
You're in your workspace.
I'm at the supply frame office in Pasadena. Right. And it is a new office, so that's why it's
right.
Crawling with people cutting pipes, apparently. Yep. So
it's not too big of a deal.
Next time it'll be a little quieter. I think that's it anyways, right? What else do we have to talk about? Is there anything else on the list? People can go check out our list. Reddit.com/r/the Amp Hour. It's always there.
Speaking of gadgets and going downhill, GoPro are slashing staff. They slashed like 400 staff or something. Yeah, they just can't compete, can't make money anymore.
That's tough. And, right. That's another one with another gadget, right? So, yep. The end is nigh for electronics. This is all consumer stuff too, right? You could still find a usage for industrial, automotive stuff, or automation stuff. I think is a big deal. So, but yeah.
Now, if I was to recommend to people to go into some niche industrial thing. You don't have to go into the consumer world. You can be the world's best industrial widget.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And
do interesting things.
Make $100 million company out of it that nobody's ever heard of.
There was that article about GE buying up all those. GE's been on a buying spree for industrial companies. Spree, So
that's right.
Right, there's money there, and companies pay. Yeah.
So we're teaching people just to go for the big sellout.
Yes, that's what. So that's what the Amp Hour.
Right.
Get it while you can. Get it while the getting's good. Yep.
Otherwise, you'll end up like Pebble.
Speaking of getting while the getting's good, Dave, I need you to pick a number between 1 and 30.
30.
Don't pick 30. You're going to pick 30? All right.
You said 1 and 30.
All right. Then our winner is... Wait, I got to load it up. Tox 104. Ivars. I don't know where Ivars is from, but...
Ivars? Is that their name?
Yeah. That's what it says on Twitter. So this is from... This is from our contest that we did back when David Cronstein was on the show, and we asked people to share if they shared the post with friends, then they would be entered. And so Ivars is the winner of the signed copy of The Art of Electronics, generously donated by David Bankston. Thank you to him. He will be shipping that out. We'll do more contests like that in the future. Actually, it worked out really well where people just sent me a screenshot of them sharing it. To contest at theamphour.com. We'll be doing that more in the future because that was just a great way to collect it, and people don't have to share on Twitter. It was really fun. People share it on IRC, LinkedIn, Slack.
IRC. Wow.
I'm on IRC again. Yeah. That's where the KiCad people hang out. So.
Right.
Yep. All right.
Maybe you need an internet connected. Maybe you need an IRC connected widget.
There you go. I'm sure there already are. I remember Jerry had one of those. She used to have one that would read the IRC messages in her shop, and then she would respond on live stream.
Ah, right. Yeah, but that was all software.
Oh, it might have been. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
But either way. All right. Well, thanks to everyone who entered, and we'll be back next week, I guess. Maybe.
If Chris doesn't check himself into a mental institution.
Nuts. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We'll talk soon.
Catch you next time.